It's a Saturday night at Griesmühle, one of the most popular techno clubs in Berlin. We're the first TV crew that's ever been allowed to film here. Normally, even taking photos is strictly verboten. Even before we go in, we can feel the intense vibes coming off the dance floor. It's almost like an addiction. You just do it. You always look forward and never back. David Cura started working in clubs at 17. For 8 years, he's been the manager of Griesmühle, a one-time noodle factory. Like most clubs in Berlin, it started off small. Now, the venue hosts 150 parties a year, employs 70 people, and brings in more than 2 million euros annually. The waterfront location and garden are particularly popular in summer at parties that last all weekend. But parties alone don't bring in enough cash. The business has to host flea markets and show movies as well to stay alive. American DJ DVS1 has been part of the Berlin techno scene for about a decade. But he isn't sure how much longer it'll last. We meet him at Space Hall, his favorite record shop, where he comes to look for the latest sounds. DVS1 is a champion of real underground techno. Some have called him techno's global conscience. And there's a reason why Berlin is his second home.
The culture is so relevant here. You know, the amount of record stores that are here, the amount of other artists that I can be influenced by and communicate with, and even in passing can gain inspiration from. You don't have that in really anywhere else in the world.
But DVS1 says tourists are watering down the unique character of Berlin's parties. Meanwhile, real estate investors are forcing clubs out of town. The freedom, space, and creativity of Berlin's techno scene are under threat.
At some point, the bubble is gonna burst. And I've already heard about some clubs, of course, facing closures, facing problems, noise restrictions, and will destroy the city at some point.
Not far from Griesmühle, on the other side of the canal, new illegal techno clubs have popped up. The underground is still alive. But Berlin city government says last year 7 clubs shut down and 16 more are at risk, including Griesmühle. David Cura has long been fighting for the club's survival. The owner of the property will only give them leases for half a year at a time. I'd like to see politicians put a stop to the whole thing. The investors and gentrification that are pushing us out, that are definitely threatening all of us, all the clubs. It's uncertain how much time ravers have left to keep dancing in Berlin, or whether someday the lights will even go out in the capital of free radical techno.